Don't you just love the feeling of setting goals and then achieving them? It's such a satisfying feeling, right? I am a big go-getter myself, and I really pride myself on going after my goals and constantly reviewing my progress to achieve them. Yet, I know that the reality is that many of us set goals, but we don't necessarily achieve them. I know that I used to set a lot of goals, too many, in fact. Some of them might not even be relevant or important to me, but I set them anyways for I don't even know why. And what ended up happening is that I never achieved them. Over time, the cycle continues, and if we do it too often, we can easily feel defeated because we don't trust ourselves enough to achieve the goals that we set out to accomplish. In order to successfully set a goal that you can achieve, you have to be very clear and intentional about your goal, about the goal setting process, the goal planning process, and keep yourself accountable throughout. I tell my clients this all the time. It's so much more important to set one intentional goal than it is to set 10 unrelated, irrelevant goals that do not mean anything to you. So stay tuned as we dive deeper into how to set your goal with intention so that you can achieve anything you want. Welcome to the Daring Living podcast, where it's all about personal growth, honest conversations, and exploring what it means to live a passionate, daring life. I'm your host, Shirley Huang. A bit over a year ago, I made the decision that I would soon end my 9-to-5 job, build my own online coaching business, and live a life where I am living on my own terms and have a job that I absolutely love. I set the goal to be working with paying clients by the end of 2019. It was a scary move at the time for me. I remember feeling terrified that I would even think that this would be possible for me. I've always been an employee and never started anything on my own before. So how is this even possible that I decided to do this? I created a plan for my goal and intentionally worked toward that every day. I enrolled in a life coaching program, hired a business coach, and learned the technical skills to build up my website, launch a podcast, and relentlessly show up on social media and on the internet every week. And today, I have my own business online and I'm working with clients. You see, there's no magic formula to achieving your goal. These are very, very intentional actions, and it is a very deliberate game plan that I created for myself to reach my goal of working for myself and having my own business. There are many factors to setting an intentional goal and achieving it. It's very fun to set goals because you feel that immediate rush of gratification right after you have set the goal. But let me tell you, it's even more fun when you can achieve it. And the process of achieving your goal, this is where lots of people give up halfway, or they do not have the right mechanisms in place to support them to take the right actions to achieve that goal. I will definitely do a few more episodes on goal setting because there's just so much more we can cover, and this is a topic that I am very, very passionate about. This can be like a mini series for the next few episodes, so stay tuned for that. Today, I want to share 4 ways of how you can start setting a more intentional goal for yourself. The first method is to reverse engineer your goal. What do I mean by this? Even before you set your goal, you need to first have the end result in mind. What does the final result look like when you have achieved your goal? What do you want to get out of with this goal? In other words, how will things be different for you once you have achieved this goal? Will you be a different person? If you are, how will you be different? What kind of person will you be? How will your life be different? how will your relationships and the things around you be different? So you might be thinking, whoa, Shirley, do we really have to go there? Yes, my friend. Yes, you do. I want you to be really, really clear about your ideal life and the life that you are trying to create for yourself. And then decide if accomplishing this goal will lead you closer to the life that you want. So I have a free workbook for you to plan out your ideal life vision. You can grab it at daringliving.com/vision workbook. So ask yourself, how does achieving this goal help me achieve the vision that I have for myself? Your goal has to be important and meaningful to you. If it's not relevant to you, then there's no point setting it in the first place. Because if it doesn't help contribute to the end result that you want for yourself, it will be very likely for you to give up in the middle of this goal, and then you might beat yourself up for setting this goal and then not achieving it. Over time, this can really become a habit, and it can really reinforce the belief that you are just someone who cannot achieve your goals. And we all know that this is not true. A belief is simply a thought that you think over and over again, and it becomes a belief. And guess what? All thoughts are optional. You can simply choose not to think about that thought if you don't want to. But first, you have to be very, very mindful about what you are thinking and what you are choosing to believe is true. So if it is a goal that is really not important to you, then forget about it. Don't do it just because other people are doing it, or that your parents or your partner or your friends expect you to do it. Instead, set another goal that really speaks to you. And then ask yourself, does achieving this goal help lead me closer to the ideal life that I want for myself? If the answer is yes, then be very intentional about it and create a plan for yourself on how you're going to achieve that. Remember, always start with the end goal in mind. This is what I mean by reverse engineer your goal. Okay, the second tip I have for you for setting an intentional goal is to get super clear on your why. Think of a goal that you really, really want to achieve. Why do you need to achieve this goal? Why is achieving this goal so important to you? If you find yourself not feeling motivated often to take actions on this goal, then maybe you haven't defined your why, and maybe your why is not strong enough. Knowing why you are doing what you do will keep you rooted and grounded on your path until you have achieved your goal. And just thinking about it in your head is probably not going to be clear enough. We have on average 60,000 thoughts a day. Isn't that crazy? 60,000 thoughts. That sentence, your why, it will most likely get lost in your thoughts somewhere along with many other thoughts. Okay? So that's why you have to write it down. Pretend you're writing it as if you're trying to persuade a stranger into believing that you can achieve this goal and why you must make it happen. Why do you absolutely must need to accomplish this goal? That is how compelling your why should be. A compelling why might not really come from an external reward. It will be more likely coming from an intrinsic reason that is very important and very meaningful to you. So let me give you an example. Instead of saying, I need to lose weight so I can fit into a size 5 jeans, a more compelling reason would be, I want to lose weight so I can feel more confident and at ease in my body. Another example is, my goal is, I want to be promoted to a manager position, and my why is so I can earn more money. A better why would be, I want to live a financial free life and be respected in my community. So do you see the difference there? The intrinsic reason often touches upon the emotional factor, and the longer term vision, life vision that is meaningful to the person. And once you wrote down your compelling why that you must achieve this goal, you have to remind yourself of it often. I look at my vision and my goals every morning when I wake up and right before I go to bed. This constant reminder and clarity for yourself is what is going to help you set the intention and be super laser focused in your days to achieve your goal. For this episode specifically, I created a goal setting with intention worksheets. This will really help you to get clear on your number one goal and make sure you are setting it with clarity and intention. To grab a copy of it, you can go to the link at darrenliving.com/goal setting worksheet. That's one word. Again, it is darrenliving.com/goal setting worksheet. Okay, this is a great segue to go to my next point. The third point, which is to track your progress. I know it sounds so simple, but it's actually something that not enough people do. Often we do not achieve our goal simply because we forgot about it. We write down our goal in our notebook somewhere, in a notepad, and then return back to look at it months after we wrote it down. And along the process, life happens and we can easily lose track of our direction and our goal as time passes by. Instead of just forgetting about our goal, it's more important to go back and review it often and adjust the progress as we are growing and changing. And that is okay, right? It's okay to make some adjustments to your goal. But in order to do that, you have to track your progress. Constantly tracking your progress and checking in with yourself will make sure that you do not stir too off track and make the necessary adjustments to your plan. So first, you have to make sure that you have your goal written down. Sometimes we get too overwhelmed because the goal feels too big and out of scope, right? So then the next step is to break down your goal into smaller projects or assignments and then set a deadline to achieve each of them. Set up a time every day and every week to check in on your progress and make any adjustments necessary. Stay committed to achieving your end result, your big number one goal, but be flexible with the approach of how you are getting there. And the only way that you can constantly innovate and make any course corrections is if you track your progress. Okay, so just a recap. So far we talked about reverse engineering your goal, getting crystal clear on your why, tracking your progress, and now the fourth tip to setting a goal with intention is to plan ahead and prepare for obstacles. Besides creating a plan for your goals, which is very important, you also need to prepare for any obstacles that might come up. I think we all know that not everything will always go according to how we want it to be. So prepare beforehand and anticipate that obstacles will come up. And this is what I like to say. I tell this with my clients all the time. The first obstacle that you will face on this journey to achieving your goal is yourself. When situations do not work in your favor, when the time comes and you have to take the actions, trust me, you will make excuses for yourself not to do the things that you say you would do. I think even especially if it is a very important goal where you will truly transform to become a new person, losing the weight, getting a fit body for the first time, changing your career, moving to a different city, learning a brand new skill. These are all goals that once you accomplish them, you might go to that next level in your life. You might really change to be better than before. And I dare say that you might actually transform to be a completely different person. So this is a journey of transformation, and expect that things will get hard. You will get frustrated. You will not feel like doing it. You will feel like giving up. And when these excuses, when these feelings start to come up, what is your strategy to overcome them? How are you going to address these excuses and these feelings that you have? One advice that I have with negative emotions, the best way is simply not to beat yourself up when you are feeling them. So what do I mean by this? When you're feeling frustrated, just let yourself feel frustrated. You don't have to beat yourself up that you're feeling frustrated, or you don't have to beat yourself up that you do not get this and that it is hard. Do you see what I mean? It's simply another layer on top of what you're already feeling, and it's just not useful at all. And let me tell you that just because you feel frustrated and uncertain and scared and anxious on this journey to achieve your goal, it doesn't mean that anything has gone wrong. Know that this is all a part of the process, right? This journey to accomplishing your goal, not everything will make you feel good and not everything will make you feel motivated all the time. For me, I always tell myself, I can do hard things, and I know that you can too. The more you're able to really experiencing these negative emotions and not making them mean anything about you, right? You are not your emotions, you are just you, and your emotions come and go as they please. And the more you're able to accept this and just sit with it and do the actions that you're intended to do anyways, this is how you achieve your goal. This is all a part of the process. I can do hard things. This is what I always tell myself when I face a challenge and when I feel like giving up. Besides you being your biggest obstacle, there will also be other obstacles that will come at you. Maybe the schedule doesn't work out, or something happened at work and now you have to spend more time on it. All of these obstacles, anticipate them to the best of your abilities and then come up with a strategy of how you're going to overcome that. Maybe if you did not get your work done tonight, perhaps you can wake up a bit earlier the next morning and get it done before you head out to work. Or maybe when you feel frustrated and you don't know how to create a website, maybe you can reach out to a friend who knows how, or do some research on figuring out how to do that. So action step for you after this episode is to write a list of possible excuses and other obstacles that will come up as you are trying to achieve your goal. And then beside each point, I want you to list out how you are going to do to overcome that, what is your strategy, and how will you address that. This is how you can be very intentional about your goal, by planning ahead, planning out your goals, and then preparing for possible obstacles that will come up. To recap, 4 ways of how you can set an intentional goal. The first way is to reverse engineer your goal. The second is to get crystal clear on your why. Third is to track your progress. And fourth is to plan and prepare for obstacles. Again, I created a goal setting with intention worksheet for you just for this episode so that you can get really clear and be very intentional about your goal. You can grab it at the link in my show notes in the description of this episode, or you can visit the link at darrenliving.com/goal setting worksheet. Again, it is darrenliving.com/goal setting worksheet. Always remember, it's more important to set one right, intentional goal than it is to set 10 irrelevant goals. Goal setting is fun, but actually accomplishing the goal is what creates the result that you want in your life. And that is what I want you to do. Always rooting for you. Have an amazing week, and I will talk to you next week. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed this episode, I would appreciate it so much if you can head to Apple Podcast and leave me a rating and review. It really helps my show to be pushed up on the platform, and in return, I can help more and more people on their personal growth journey. Feel free to tag me on your Instagram story at Darren Living, or send me a message and let me know what you think about goal setting, goal planning, and how to create an intentional goal. These are all topics I'm super passionate about. Alright, I will talk to you soon. Bye bye.